It's time. Switch over. Looks like it. Hey, everybody. I think I figured out the issue with that overlay I have for YouTube chat. So next stream, it's going to be back to normal. But this stream, it's still with the backup YouTube chat. Yay! So, how was everybody's Sunday? That's your opinion on it. I'd spent a lot of time covering the stuff that went down. And she's actually stopped blocking people and actually started responding to people. To catch people up on the discourse that's been going on revolving around MarinaVT, she got a sponsorship and then she got canceled over previous stuff that's going on. For the first while, she spent a lot of time just blocking the people that were giving no actual criticism and just not actually levying, actual evidence against her. So she was just blocking and ignoring them. And it just kept piling up and piling up. And then she started to push back. She released a big-ass document, or not document, like a really long tweet. Covered that earlier. And then she went live to talk about it. While she was live, she came across some other people who were going over her tweet, and they decided to talk. Now, we're going over the second half of that conversation. The first half, I was actually there watching it live. Now, this part, I haven't watched yet. I am excited to get through this. So, with only a little bit of preamble, let's get right back into it.
It's really not helpful here. And all it really serves to do is let, whatever side you're arguing against, it doesn't matter what it is, all it allows you to do is for them to say, look at the idiot here, that they actually don't have any points. They're just railing against me and they don't have anything. So like, again, if I want to press this home as someone who is out there, just completely, all I know is what people have told me. All right. Because I feel bad here from what I've heard. I was like, man, Marina sounds like an asshole. But now I'm starting to think a lot of this sounds unfounded. Maybe I'm the asshole for assuming here. And I do feel like an asshole for assuming here. So if there's real stuff, give it to me.
I'm back, by the way. I didn't want to interrupt, but I'm just letting everyone know that I'm here.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No,
I do.
Yeah.
I do want to say.
So they were obviously still talking during the break. That's no biggie there. But like, I have no idea who this person is. Given how they've been acting and behaving themselves in the previous part of this conversation, I'm actually inclined to really like them. I am aware of this one. I know who that is, Lumi. I've talked with her a bit. We discussed some stuff revolving around Akio Air, but we haven't covered anything together. And then Mizu is I think they do a podcast together, or they're starting up a drama podcast. You haven't seen any of it? It's news to you? Restarted Honest Hearts because of glitch with the end quest. What? I am so confused, Tiberius. Lumi, the Finnish wolf tuber? No, she's not a wolf. She's a Luminous Cove. Anyways.
Just because I could hear while I was running around with my headset. I really, again, respect y'all letting me come and talk, and again, want to reiterate, like, even if there was any intimidation or fear in the beginning of me popping in because you don't know me, I really just, again, want to stress, like, I don't want anyone to feel any intimidation. Like, I really just want people to be able to tell me anything they feel, so we can, air it out and talk about it. And Mizu, I really respect and appreciate you being able to just tell me how you feel and tell me the things you disagree with. And ultimately, I think some things we may just disagree with. But, I appreciate you telling me them.
Just ask me in the Discord tips.
I think
I'm
Mr.
terribly
I
sorry.
think-
I couldn't
there
hear
we go.
half of that.
Oh, okay,
My
okay.
chat's throwing bits at my face, and it's actually very loud. I don't know how to turn that
No
down.
worries. I was just saying thank you for, being honest with me, sharing the way that you feel with me, and being
She does look like she's inspired by an inkling from Splatoon.
open to talk with me about stuff,
Excuse
discuss
me.
stuff.
Yeah. So
You know, like
Um,
I guess I'll make this clear. I don't necessarily hate anybody. Like, hate is a very strong word. If I were to actually define someone I hate, I could. Can we stop with the bits for like 5 seconds?
silence
Like, I
it.
appreciate it. I honestly
Silence it.
do.
All right. Don't let the
It's
super chats
really
get in the
loud.
way.
Um, but no, like, I could probably count the amount of people I legitimately hate on one hand. So I don't hate you. I do have like a lot of disagreements with you, and I do
Yeah.
even after now, I will disagree with my co-host, and I will say sometimes I do feel like you can be a bit snakish. I'm not saying that in a way to like harass you or anything. I'm saying that's just my impression coming off.
That's
And like
fine.
you
That's,
can think I'm an asshole. I'm fine with like us having negative opinions of each other. But I do just want you to know I don't calm down, chat. I don't hate you, and I don't wish ill on you. And
Yeah.
if I had to like sit down and define something, I would say I personally don't agree with people adding glitch. Anything you've done, real or not. I typically don't.
Again, the controversy that was risen were accusations of harassment, inciting harassment, encouraging harassment, doxing. What else? What else? I should honestly remember. I just talked about it yesterday. There's a lot thrown around. Sexualizing being a teacher. What else? Calling somebody a pedo. Those are the accusations levied against MarinaVT.
Don't like people going after other people's money. I think this is a very recent thing that people have started doing, trying to get people deplatformed by taking their money away, and I don't like that.
No, this is not a recent thing. It's been around as long as Twitter has been around. The VTuber scene is just a new kind of scene within the area, so a lot of newer people are experiencing it for the first time and they think it's newer, but no. People have been behaving like this for a while.
But in the same way, I also don't like when people try and get people's like Twitters and stuff banned. I'm kind of the opinion, just like block and move on.
Well, I think we can agree that nobody deserves to really have their money taken away unless they are genuinely evil people. And even then, like, let people bury themselves. Don't like at somebody's sponsors or just say you shouldn't work with this person just because their human characteristics or whatever. Let people bury themselves. All right, people get fired from their jobs all the time because they're assholes.
Like that esports commentator who got dropped by like 4 sponsorships because she wanted to exclude trans people from a Halo tournament that she was hosting. She buried herself right there.
And all that stuff. I personally think, well, it doesn't matter your politics, your life, all that stuff. If people are going to be hosted by X, Y, or Z, let themselves bury themselves. All right. If Marina's going to do something that's weird or bad, let them bury themselves. Or what, or just using you as an example, not just as the facts, but like,
No, of course. Yeah.
like,
Anybody. Yeah.
So real quick, I do want
Okay.
to clarify this for chat, just because I like to make sure any opinions given.
Why exclude trans people? Usually it's because we have an innate biological advantage or some bullshit. Especially in, like, esports. Yeah, exactly. There's no innate actual advantage for esports. You can make an argument for sports and like pre-HRT people, but otherwise it's just to exclude trans people.
Mine are known, so it's not like I'm agreeing with it. Even if somebody is a legitimately bad person, chat, don't go at their business. I am not a lawyer, but I do have fairly legal stuff is my field of interest mostly. Even if someone is a legitimately bad person, unless what they're doing is directly negatively affecting that specific business, you can be sued for getting them like deplatformed from it. It's
Exactly.
called interference with business contract. So
Mhm.
chat, don't.
That's the reason why it's on TOS as well. On like Twitter, you can report people for doing that.
Yeah, so chat, even if like they're legitimately evil, I would highly recommend not doing it. Just because I've seen people legitimately evil still win a lawsuit over that.
Exactly.
Just don't try to get people deplatformed for their business.
I've also seen somebody win a lawsuit for defamation while remaining an anonymous VTuber. That was a fun time. What was the presiding judge? Masatoshi Ishimoto, I think. Look up that name, you'll probably pull up the articles relating to it.
I personally
Just be
don't like
smart
it. The law doesn't
about
like
anything
it.
you do.
Let's not do it.
All right, and
Yeah.
real quick, Ginny, you guys probably know her as Rosa, has said,
Oh, okay.
unfortunately, I'm not the type to take screenshots about stuff I don't really care about, but if I'm honest, mad respect to her for dipping her toes in a Shark Tank. And then she said, I can drop my past grievances. And last thing she said was, yeah, I didn't appreciate her talking shit while I was suspended, even though we never interacted before, but I don't hate her.
Okay. Yeah, I
think that last statement was from Melia the maid, Melia the succubus, whatever they go by now. For those that don't know, in the first half of this conversation, Melia was listening, and Lumi, the purple-haired girl there, was acting as a bit of a mediator, go-between. And like they kind of, Marina and Melia kind of got to a point of, let's just wash our hands of it and go both ways. To like super simplify it.
Yeah, I would say this.
I'm trying to think about how to even respond to that. Yeah, I think, you know, I want to make it clear when I have disagreements with people over opinions, it doesn't mean that I hate anybody or doesn't mean anything like that. I know Jeannie and I had a basically differing viewpoints on something, and I think we're both entitled to our opinions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I got one more thing. I got a lot of shit was typed in my chat. I need to give me a second, Melia. Let me get to your apology. God. Okay, there we go.
Just real quick to Ginny,
Like
I
a
don't hate
full-on
you,
apology?
and I think you're very talented as a performer and as a streamer. You know, I just still stand by it, you know, disagreeing on certain opinions.
And the last thing Melia's wanted to apologize said, I apologize for focusing on this from my resentful feelings. There is a lot to it, but it doesn't excuse my obsessive posts about it.
And I really appreciate the apology from Melia. I just really hope, like speaking directly to Melia, I really hope that you can just focus your energies on you. Focus your energies on your content that you're making, you know? Like, I think you've kind of built up a community around a lot of negativity, but I don't think it's too late for you to be able to do something that just involves uplifting people and focusing on creating good content and focusing on, you know, doing whatever it is you want. Whether or not we agree on, you know, the aesthetic of your model or things like that, like, we don't have to agree on that, or anything like that, but you know.
Look at that shit. Melia had been going after Marina for quite a while, and Marina made 2 tweets. Well, the first tweet was celebrating the suspension of Melia, and Melia got triggered over that, from what I hear. And then Melia kind of held that grudge for a while, and even now, after all this time, Marina is still being like, focus on you. I actually accept your apology. And even if we disagree on aesthetics of things, I still want what's best for you, essentially. That's the vibe I've been getting from Marina. And like, people hate on her? What is it about? As far as I can tell, it's literally people just running with narratives on Twitter.
I want the best for anybody, and I just do your best with content creation, you know?
Awesome. But yeah, like when it comes to the overall twit longer, the post, I think that me personally, I would like to see evident like people are saying you doxed. I think that's evil. You say you haven't doxed. If their posts are out there, I would gladly share them too, but people haven't sent them to me, so I don't think you doxed. You say you haven't harassed
No.
people.
Yeah, again with the docs portion, I'm pretty sure it's people trying to make the stretch that or the connection that people were doxed during the Hogwarts Legacy discourse and that Marina was pro Hogwarts Legacy boycott, and they're trying to attribute all the bad things that had been done regarding the pro boycott side attributable to all one person. They're mad and they're just trying to take it out on somebody, and they're trying to take it out on Marina. And Marina is handling it like a goddamn champ.
People are saying you have. I would like to see it. Otherwise, I don't think you have. I do think you have strong opinions, and you are not only
Mhm.
entitled to your opinions. I do think to a certain extent you are correct about some of those opinions. But unless I see you actively saying go harass this person for playing funny wizard game, I don't think you
Right.
actually said that. The trans shooter thing I think is a non-issue. I think that's just poor timing. I think that not only is that poor timing, that's not something that you can really control.
Can I talk on that real quick? It's
Yeah,
a
go right
very
ahead.
short thing. It's okay. So that was literally I had planned to.
Oh, right. That was another claim against her. She celebrated a trans shooter. You could also say that I celebrated a trans shooter because I had quote tweeted a person. I think that was Fate. Whatever. I quote tweeted somebody regarding the trans shooter, and I basically had a thread about how right wingers are just going to make this all about trans people rather than the actual problem of mass shootings. And then that's exactly what they did with that thread. As for Marina, she had a charity for Trans Lifeline scheduled, and then a mass shooting happened where the shooter happened to be transgender. And then people are blaming Marina and saying she celebrated it. Some people even said she invented the Trans Day of Vengeance hashtag, but I'm pretty sure that was going around even if she had tweeted it. I don't think she was even the first.
Charity stream literally over 2 months in advance. It involved a lot of people. It involved a lot of people's schedules, and I don't know. I mean, we're all streamers, so I'm sure y'all have planned collabs and things. I don't know if you've ever done a large scale collab. It's very difficult to get everyone in a row and to get everyone locked in, and any slight changes are near impossible. To anything that changes means that several people are dropping out or not able to participate. For me, it was a matter that, and I said this then, and I stand by this now. I think that the very unfortunate shooting that happened had nothing to do with my stream. I don't think there was any involvement. I think it actually comes from a place of transphobia. Again, some people can disagree, but I think it comes from a place of transphobia, or internalized transphobia, to associate the fact that someone who did something really bad and was trans reflects on or is tied in some way to some event that is meant to just uplift trans people, right?
I think
That's
I think it's a gotcha. People trying to use.
Yeah, I don't think I could have made a point better than Marina there. She's doing so goddamn well with this.
I know very little about that drama, but from what I understand, you did a stream right after a horrible mass shooting, and because the person that did it was trans or somewhere
Yes.
on the spectrum, they're linking it to you celebrating. Is that what I'm understanding?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a horrible gotcha. I think if people want to attack people, that's not the best, or not even not the best. That's just not a good way to associate that. That's just it's poor timing. But from a business perspective, I understand why you still had to go through with it, and I'm sure even you were just like, "Can I still do this? Is this a good idea?" Or you may not even have known about it. But I feel like that's weird, non-issue. The teacher thing, I don't know any about either. But yeah, I think a lot of issues just look like a whole bunch of he said, he
on
yeah,
this
go ahead.
discussion real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, because I like to try and keep in touch with everybody's chats, I actually do have Marina's chat open, and I have to say, because I don't normally defend myself, especially to chatters, MarinaVT, do not try and say I said Marina was horrible for the mass shooting thing. You were straight up lying in her chat about me. I am not going to tolerate that.
I actually should open up.
Yeah, you've got
I-
the body in your chat saying I tried to pin the shooting event on you. That literally
Just-
never happened. You were lying through your teeth.
Just like what I will say about anything, you know, just like what I say about you know, Twitter stuff, I don't take anything without evidence. You know, yeah. If there's any worry that I saw something and was like, oh my gosh, like don't, yeah, you're good.
Yeah,
I would
I
hope
just want
not.
this
You know,
person to know, like, we didn't even discuss the shooting thing until you got in here. We were completely stuck on Melia the entire time. So I don't know
Yeah.
why this
Yeah.
person is trying to lie about. This will be up on a VOD, person. Like, if you can clip it, I will apologize to Marina for saying.
I have no idea why Mizu is focusing on this chatter. It's completely irrelevant to this. You can. I guess Mizu just wants to defend theirself.
That. I can tell you, I never said that. I've never
I mean,
held that against her.
at this point, I don't even care what happened. It's like, it's just, I would hope that no one at this point, you know, believes that I in any way celebrated the mass shooting or planned. I think the thing was that a lot of people, I've seen the misinformation that I planned the stream after that event happened. You know what I mean? Like, I planned
Yeah.
it after the shooting had occurred, which is just very, very wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a bunch of. Yeah. As someone who is
I mean,
very
yeah.
non-political, I hate politics. I hate all of it because I think it just bogs people down.
Well, come on, narrators. We are in the middle of
I think the
a
politics
discussion,
around,
I guess.
trying to.
But yeah,
use
sorry,
people's
I love you,
immutable
Fen. Thank you so much.
characteristics to try
Mwah.
and
Can we get Fen
throw
a shout
people
out?
under the bus. Like, come up with an actual argument. All right, that's not an actual argument. Saying that you planned this to celebrate, and I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, it's like a few days between the shooting and the actual stream with like a ton of different people. Yeah, no. The biggest stream I had was a 24-hour charity stream where the bot's no longer available because it was 24 hours. And that took forever to actually properly plan out who was going to be showing up on my stream and when. That took so much effort to actually plan it. To actually think that Marina had planned the charity stream like in a couple days with so many people is just conspiracy brained thinking.
I understand that some people can think, oh, it's very easy to set up a stream. You just get on OBS, hit the start stream button. Oh, and that's not how this works. And I think a lot of it is a
If you
lack
have
of
30
understanding.
people,
Probably, I'm going to say lack of understanding is the word I'd say because people don't really understand how much time goes into this.
Yeah,
So,
I think a lot.
I feel like it's a non-issue that people should not be worried about.
To be honest with you, I think a lot of it is
True.
just bad faith.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is just bad faith arguments. It's. I think people are saying these things not actually believing that I celebrated a shooter or not actually believing that I planned it on purpose. I think there are a lot of. I mean, like trolls do exist, right?
Yes,
Like,
yes,
yeah, I
people,
think-
it's intentional. You know?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of people that, you know, and I will say, I think there is I hate to use the fucking term slippery slope, but like there is a slippery slope of people who, you know, let that hate fill their hearts, and in the revenge that they want to do when they pick on people on Twitter, and then they slowly become okay with lying, right? Someone who may originally have, you know, actually had a problem with someone based on something real, slowly they start to say things that actually aren't based in reality. They just want to jab at that person.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's what ended up happening with me in that situation.
yeah, that's just kind of how Twitter goes, unfortunately. Especially being a bigger creator, people are just going to see the accusations being made, and most people are just going to make a snap decision based on who they see saying that thing. Is it somebody they're already following? Is it somebody they already like? Is it somebody they're just going to take the word for and not actually look into what's happening? It's a big problem. I don't even know if it can be addressed, honestly.
Yeah. If people say it was a bad time to do the stream, I would urge you to remember that, like, and it was a charity, so you had, like, was it some sort of written agreement? I mean, I know you probably can't say everything, but you had some sort of agreement that you had to keep to.
It was
couldn't just
set up,
say,
yes. So
yeah,
with,
you couldn't just say, "I gotta back out. This is a bad look, guys." Like some people could
I mean,
probably get away with that.
could I have canceled if I wanted to? Yeah, I could have, but there were just so many different factors as to why that was not something I wanted to do.
Yeah, and it's like, with
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, like I get that it would be what's the word I'm thinking? I can't think of the right word. I guess it would be respectful to cancel it in a way, but then on the other hand, you're raising money in support of a good cause. Perhaps it's not the cause that would solve the root of the mass shooting problem, but it's still a cause that's worth fighting for. It's still something that needs, funding, help.
What I seen from like your announcement post for it, that's a lot of fucking streamers. There's no way that someone with a half working brain that knows how content creation works, that you can't plan that shit in like even in a week. That shit takes months. So it's like anyone who just says, "Oh, she planned this like 3 days ago. She got all these people to sync up their clocks." No. That's very easily dismissible. Like, yeah, no, that's some bullshit.
And I do agree that you really aren't obligated to cancel a charity stream.
Yeah, you have to
You
sign in.
probably are going to get some flack for it, especially when the topic is kind of touchy. But you're not obligated to cancel a charity stream. And like again, for
Right.
somebody in the middle, I'm just looking at this like, guys, come on now.
I'll find it later.
Yeah.
I mean,
Use
the way
real
that I
arguments
see
here.
it,
Not
the way
about
that
this.
the way that I see it too is like, I don't know, if there was a group of Muslim people who were running a charity for their mosque, and a couple days before that planned event, someone did a mass shooting and they happened to be Muslim, it wouldn't be like oh no, because by association you're from the same group, you should be ashamed of existing, and you should be ashamed of running a charity for your group, right? Like, or same thing with anyone else. If someone was African American, and there was a mass shooting and it happened to be done by an African American individual.
I'm pretty sure I don't have a source on hand, but I'm pretty sure that the thing about like Muslims having a charity for their mosque shortly after a mass shooting, I'm pretty sure that actually has happened IRL. So like it isn't a uncharacteristic thing for that to happen, for people to just draw that association based on essentialist traits of a person, or essential traits of a person, like compare, or like exactly being like, oh, mass shooter had this trait, well, the charity also has this trait, therefore they are in support of each other 100% lockstep. But no, that's not how it works.
And someone was, some streamer was doing a charity for something, something related to the African American community.
Well, like
I would not
mention this,
expect for
the
their.
first time we did it, or the
Yeah.
first time we covered this, was kind of relating it to 9/11 and just random cartoons getting canceled.
Right,
People
right.
do just make those associations. I'm not saying they're right associations or that you should have stopped it because of it. However, any other kind of large business expects that blowback and preempts it. I'm not saying you're like a huge business and you should have expected that.
Right.
But this is why large businesses have such hefty PR departments.
Sure.
To examine just kind of how people feel about stuff and to try and cut off these
Yeah.
kind of complaints early on.
And I think one of the things that's a little bit different about business too is like if you take, for example, well, Advance Wars that was released by Nintendo. This is a double one that's bad because Advance Wars was set to release, I think, either like the day before 9/11 or something like that, or like right afterwards. And it impacted sales, and it was unfortunate for them, right? Because it had nothing to do with that. But because it was a war game, like that was the thing. And then Advance Wars was set to come out, the remake, and then the conflict with Ukraine started, and it caused Nintendo to stop that for a year. But in my opinion, a lot of that is like, yes, it is
Really?
based on, sensitivity.
Did Nintendo actually delay that because of the war in Ukraine? I had no idea about that one.
But a lot of it too, from a business standpoint, is based on sales.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and to me, it wasn't about money. Like, I wasn't like, oh man, I'm gonna make less money. Like, yeah, it's charity, but like, the idea was it doesn't matter if people feel less inclined to donate to a trans cause because a shooting just happened from a trans person. That's not up to me. None of that mattered to me. It was just about simply.
Yeah, that's kind of on the donor themselves, whether or not they actually want to contribute to that, whether or not they're actually going to make that essentialist association between the shooter and the charity runner that happen to share a trait. And a lot of time that's all they might share.
Uplifting the trans community that the trans community is completely unrelated to. I don't think that there's people in the trans community who don't feel like that person is not someone who stands with, or like we don't support that or stand with them. Does that make sense? Sorry,
No.
my board's getting a little scrambled or
You're
jumbled,
fine.
but
Listen, it's 1 a.m.
Okay.
where I am, so I understand. But
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
like I don't feel like that should be really an issue with people, because it's just like, I don't know. I don't feel like that really matters. Like, do your stream. Some people are
Yeah.
gonna get upset. Let
No.
them be upset. You know?
Okay, so I
No.
think we gotten a little too into the weeds on this, and it is getting late. So most of us are probably in like our brain shut down stage. So before like anybody has to start going, there are like 2 more issues I wanted to touch
Sure.
on in this. The
Yeah.
big one, and this really irritates me, and it irritates other people, is the Taiga
Sure.
thing.
Okay.
And I can agree with you
Okay.
that you are free to dislike
Yeah, I thought they were definitely going to be saving the Taiga stuff for later. I do wonder what else Mizu wants to get into.
how like Taiga's a Shotokan. You're free to dislike that. You're free to think it's creepy. However, I do think it comes off a little dishonest when you say I've never accused him of taking part in pedophilic activity, because you have to understand when you take a document about somebody and you retweet it and you say this document's why I hate this person, and in that document it calls them a pedophile, you have officially co-signed calling them a pedophile. You can't just blanket say this document's good and then hand it to your followers when it includes an allegation like that. And I do personally think you owe Taiga an apology for that. I think a lot of people kind of agree that you do.
Okay. You know, I can absolutely see where you're coming from. In
For reference, because it wasn't covered in this video, but Marina had shared 3 screenshots of DMs from Taiga, jokes along the lines of "I will fuck little boys" kind of thing. Yeah, very, very upstanding stuff, especially coming from a Shotokan. Very good look, dude. And Marina shared those while linking the document as context for where she got the screenshots. An exoneration doc came out and basically confirmed that the screenshots were not faked. So, like, it might not have been an actual declaration of intent. It was just a creepy joke. And I don't like them jokes. I'm cool with joking about pedophilia broadly. I'm not that cool with joking about being one.
in my opinion, from my perspective, when I was, you know, making that original tweet thread, I was framing it around those images that I shared. That was the concern for me. That is why I never mentioned anything about pedophilia or anything in my own words there. I thought that was, you know, a point that was made. The only reason why I even included that document was for the transparency of I'm not going to share random pictures and have them be like, where did they come from? Like, they came from here. I understand. I totally understand what you're saying is some people might be able to see that as a co-signing of that document, which I did not do in my opinion. If that is the way it is viewed, you know, and I will even, if Taiga watches this, like, I am sorry if that led to people assuming any accusations because of something that I shared. I thought it was clear. It was not my intention. I personally tried to make very clear that I was not making any false accusations. I was not making any accusations of any kind. That was not my intention. And I really wanted to just kind of sit by there and say, I don't agree with this. I think what was said in those DMs was gross to me personally. And I think it's a bit in bad faith for people to say things like I ruined their whole career when
No one
they
said
have
you ruined his career.
a lot of
Mizu, didn't Taiga literally quote tweet the announcement of what's it? Didn't Taiga? Hey, Joestar. Didn't Taiga quote tweet the announcement of energy or glitch energy of Marina's endorsement, and then he was talking about how his career was ruined or something? We covered that in a previous video, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember the exact phrasing, but like, dude's hung up on being Omega canceled by Marina, who is at 23,000. She's live now, right now, by the way. Chatting. What is she at? 20-something thousand. And then Tyga, fuck, I don't remember Tyga's
A lot of people have
Twitch
said that
right
to me.
now.
They've said that I ruined
But
their
he's at
career and that I,
100,000.
made up things. That's what I hear too. It's like the wording is like I made up things, and I think some of it's just not really in good faith. That
Someone who
being
doesn't
said,
know, could you kind of tell what like the whole issue is? Like, I briefly skimmed through this. Is it because they're into lolicon, or what was wrong with this? Shotokan. Okay.
He's in a Shotokan. His model is very child-coded, and he has a pacifier in a lot of the art that I've seen on his profile. Not a good look to be making jokes like he did.
That's literally
I don't know if he continues to make them jokes, but he should probably stop if he does.
Okay.
I think there's a sensitivity around it.
Yeah.
I will
We
say,
can talk about it later.
yeah.
well, the
I will
point isn't
say-
necessarily the Shotokan. This is just context.
Yeah,
Okay.
just I like speaking like so that I can speak for myself. You know, as opposed to it saying that like someone else saying that it's just about Shotokan. Yes, me personally, not a fan of Shotokan, not a fan of lolicon. I think I'm entitled to the opinion of disliking it,
You are.
and I think
I do
other
too.
people are entitled to the opinion of how they feel about it. What bothered me were statements made in DMs, about children, that made me deeply uncomfortable. And those were things that when I looked at them, I said, I don't think someone who's saying this needs a platform here, right? So
Why
the
is that
thing
up to
is,
you?
it's not up to me. That's my opinion. Does that make sense? Like
Right.
but
I can say like
guess
people
what we're
can look at
trying
me
to say is-
people can look at me and say I don't think Marina needs a platform, and they're welcome to say that. They're welcome to think that. But it's not going to magically make my platform disappear.
Yeah, but I think kind of what a lot of commenters, especially on Twitter, because I've talked
Yeah.
to them and I've talked to Tyga before, are trying to get at, is you share a document that says he's a pedo, you don't like put any clarifications that you don't agree with that particular accusation. You put in that same thread, this document is why he shouldn't have a platform, and then later on you kind of just hand wave it away as, oh, it's not really that big of a deal. I disagreed with him on the Shotokan thing, so everything else is justified. You have to understand like how people are going to take that original thread. Like even at the end of the thread, you link another document, and the start of it tagline is
Completely ignoring the fact that Tyga plays up a character that looks like a little boy with the pacifier and then makes jokes like that. Even if it's not about real little boys, it's still going in that direction. What would make him think he wouldn't have these accusations made against him? Like, honestly. And for clarification, I guess I am doing the woke version of what was he wearing.
racism and pedophilia. People are going to look at that and immediately say, okay, well, he's a racist pedophile. Marina's like co-signing all this stuff, sharing that he's a racist pedophile.
Well, I would hope that people read documents and make decisions for themselves based on evidence.
But they don't.
Yeah, and you
That-
have
that's
to know
the
the
unfortunate
content
thing.
creators.
Well, I
People
True.
don't.
You know,
Sometimes
But is
people
that
don't get
on-
past the first line, unfortunately. And
whose responsibility is that?
it's not
It's
your
not my
responsibility?
No,
I'll
but
tell
like,
this to
Okay,
you.
well then I
Okay,
think
okay,
that's
guys,
the
guys,
thing
guys.
to make clear.
To get
I think this
to
is
you know
extremely important to like hammer home on. We're
Yeah,
not
I know-
saying
I
it's
know
your
it's-
fault. You have to understand though that you are a content creator and this is what happens with people. You sound like you're trying to play ignorant about it. Like you don't understand that this is how stuff happens.
it's like I'll take the reins just for a moment. But the way that
Please do,
people
Lumi.
who frame, Google Docs and Twitlongers with a certain title is the exact same way that people who write news articles that want to get a certain thing pushed out right away for people who only read the headlines. They know that's what most people will only read. They'll make their judgments there and then leave. But people who do want to form their own opinion on things will read further into it. We won't, we can't control who's going to read the entire document or who's just going to take
Right.
what they see at face value. So, we can't, it's like, I know we can try to tell our audience that, hey, don't do this, but stay informed. Or,
Right.
we
Yeah.
can't control what they think, what they say, or, what they do afterwards.
Yeah, I also
But-
think something that's important. Sorry, keep going.
Oh, no, go ahead.
You can't really expect every single person that listens to you to think the same way you do. you can only do what you can to inspire critical thinking among your audience and encourage them to actually look into it. Not everybody will. That's just a fact of life. But the people that like you, the people that actively hang on your every word, it might reach them. You never know.
I was gonna say, I think it's something that's important too, is like the stuff that was cited, right, about like the trigger warnings or the content warnings, is that's exactly what they are. Like a trigger warning or a content warning for a certain thing means anything that falls under that umbrella. So at the end of the day, like someone having a content warning for pedophilia, for example, means that something in that realm is going to be talked about. And I think people misunderstanding content warnings is not on anybody other than the person misunderstanding them.
Yeah, like a content warning of jokes about pedophilia, or like content warning pedophilia could be somebody joking about it, or it actually happening, or like a variety of different things. People just love to jump to the conclusions right away. They don't actually look into things. It's a big problem. That's why we need to inspire more critical thinking.
And I know it's this idea of like, oh, well, like you're giving people credit to like, you know, yes, are there people that don't use any kind of critical thinking? Yeah, of course, I've experienced a lot of them. But again, that doesn't mean the fault becomes on me or anything like that. In that situation, if that's why I said that, you know, when I did say I'm sorry, it's not I'm sorry for disagreeing. It's not I'm sorry for thinking anything's gross. It's not I'm sorry for sharing those images. It's if anyone somehow, you know, misunderstood what I was saying as a write-off or advocating or co-signing the accusations, that was not my intention.
Do you understand how maybe
that's something
like
I'm trying to make
outside
clear.
viewer, or maybe specifically even Tyga himself, if he saw this,
Mhm.
could maybe see that apology as a more of, I'm sorry you feel that way?
What? Like, for real, personally, I do kind of think the apology should be, I'm sorry for you feel that way, because you said some sussy jokes, pointed out some sussy jokes. People looked at you and said that tracks. I mean, come on, bro. Really?
That's not what I'm saying,
That is
though.
very much how it comes off. As I'm sorry that somebody who, if you feel like I'm the reason somebody attacked you. That's very much how that whole thing kind of comes off.
Okay, so what do you, in your opinion, what do you feel I should be apologizing for?
I would say, because I've had to apologize for this before on my own, I would say the
Okay.
best way to apologize is to say, I'm sorry I shared a document that called you a pedophile and did not provide the context to my followers that I did not agree with that. Because I can show you, like, even on my own page now when I retweet some of those documents, I will specifically include in my thread, these are the things I believe, these are the things I don't necessarily believe, but I can't disprove, and these are the things I think are wrong. I don't just kind of hand it to my followers.
But the accusations, quote unquote, that Marina made against Tyga were based on real screenshots from what Tyga said. That's her whole problem about this.
And be like, here's a document, I agree with it, go ham.
Sure. You know, I have to think about it and think about, you know, the way you have portrayed it and that. Could I have, you know, clarified that I am only providing this document to show you the images. I am not co-signing anything else in this document. Yes, I could have. I didn't view it as necessary, and I have to think about it to see if I do view it as necessary.
Yeah, that's not really,
you know what I mean?
That's not really something you can make a snap decision on. You gotta do a little insight and processing, thinking about it. I mean, a lot of stuff you can work through, like, relatively quickly on the fly, but not everything.
And like, I'm keeping an open mind. I'm trying to work with you. I'm trying to think about it.
Well, I guess I could put it in this perspective for you, because I haven't
Yeah.
shared any like twit longers about you, but I want to say, like, say I took a twit longer, maybe the size of your own tweet here, And
Sure,
it
okay.
included like the allegations about you doxing people and like actively going out and harming people. And I just retweeted it and it says, "Here's a document on Marina. She's done everything in here. I believe it." And just kind of sent it to my followers.
But I didn't say that though.
That is such a mischaracterization of what was actually said. Like, come on, Mizu. It was 3 screenshots and a link. Screenshots that were real.
That's an important distinction too.
I mean, I think you're kind of getting caught up on semantics at that point because you started with,
I
if
think
you need
I think it is
Spark notes on why
important.
he's a person who should not be in this community, here it is.
What
You're
did you
saying
say?
Yeah,
this is
okay.
true without specifically using the words true. I don't really see why there's a distinction.
What did you say, Marina?
I read it. If you need Spark notes on why Bunga Taigo is a person who should not be in this community, here you go. Link to the document.
I want to clarify. It's not here you go link to the document. It's a image, right, of him talking about things he would do with a little boy. And then there's another tweet with more images of things that I also disagreed with. Like if you follow through my tweet and you go down to where it says original thread, near the very bottom, you can open it. I don't know if you want to open it on stream, but for others who aren't streaming or showing their screen, you can look at it there.
Yeah, I will post it in group chat.
In my opinion, the structure of the thread makes a big difference to me. As opposed to saying, here's a Spark Notes and then dropping the link, right? I said full doc below, but that was just for people understanding because they were immediately going to ask me, what's the context? Or at least that's what I would hope. When you see something, you want to know where is it from? What's the context?
Yeah, that's personally what I hope. That's actually what I thought when I first saw Marina getting canceled. What's the actual context here? Turns out it's a lot of people being mad because she's girl bossing and they can't stop her.
I don't just want to see a random screenshot. I want to know how does this exist in the world? So that's why I said full link below, or full doc below. And after, I think it was the 3rd tweet, I posted the link. And that was so people could get access to where the pictures came from.
Right.
That's it. And I think the thing that I kind of stand by is, like, I have never said anything, literally, in any kind of tweets or anything, that says that I thought,
girl boss. True.
he had done something illegal or anything like that, or made accusations that way. I can understand your perspective of where you're saying by me even including the document, you think that I am signing off on that. I just don't see it that way.
I think kind of my problem, and I've mentioned this a couple times, that I have with you in general, not just in the debate, is you seem to use the, I didn't explicitly say X, so I didn't say it. I don't think that really works. I mean, we're all adults here. We all kind of know what we mean when we say things.
I mean,
I think there's a reasonable a reasonable expectation for people to assume certain things from certain situations. But on the same sense, I think there's also things that you can't expect them to.
Well, I mean, take your thread here.
Perceive.
Spark Notes is a bad person. And yeah, I'll give you include the original document on the 3rd tweet in that with all these pictures. But what is an outside person supposed to get from you linking that document?
They're supposed to see, oh, hey, that's some pretty sussy stuff being said. Let's look into this. And then they look into it, or then they take a look at who is being accused of what they had said. And then they see a depiction of a childlike boy in a pacifier. And then they say, yeah, that tracks. We're going in circles. It's like they don't realize why people jump to the conclusion of pedophilia when it comes to Lolicon and Shotacon, even if there's not a direct actual link.
Along with your first tweet, are they supposed to assume that all 3 of these tweets are completely disconnected and the only part of this document you're talking about are these pictures and not the document itself? Why would a reasonable person expect you're just posting it for funsies?
It's like, in defense of
Posting it for funsies? Yeah, this guy's totally coming in good faith.
Marina here. It's like, I know that, like, I understand where you're coming from, where it's like, if you share something that has, some accusations in it and such, where, like, you'd want to put, like, I see this being possible, this sounds like bullshit, could be a thing. But not everybody either has the time to, put out their Spark Note thoughts, or, like, if it's something that is seemingly urgent, it's, in the moment it seems like it's better to get that, that post out there for just in case if X person is legitimately a dangerous person. And then if you need to backtrack on it, I would say then quote retweet it and clear yourself up instead of just completely ignoring it. But that's just me.
But see, that's where me and many people's complaint comes from. This was a year ago. There's been no backtracking. So there's been time to clarify, and even now on stream, we're kind of dancing around clarifying. There's still to this day never been a clarification.
Well, I thought I clarified in my tweet that I made today.
You didn't call
and I'll say right now, I don't think that he is a pedophile. I don't think that he did pedophilic legal.
I don't think Tyga actually did anything with actual minors. I think he's made some very sussy jokes. I don't think he's an actual pedo, but I can get the people. I understand where people are coming from that make that assumption.
Legally pedophilic activity or things like that. Does that make sense? Like, I can think that him making comments about little boys makes me deeply uncomfortable, and I think that's a big problem. But
yeah, I agree.
Does that make sense? And I think the whole idea is that a lot of people agreed. And I think that's kind of where the disagreement came from, or the POV came from, is like, and I really want to break it down to this. I think that there is a strong bias, and I think the strong bias comes from people who are in the lolicon or Shotacon community, not everyone, but some people, who think that
of them.
The comments that are being made in those DMs refer specifically to that kind of material, and I think maybe there is some connection that happens where they feel almost attacked.
Oh, 100%, 100%. I don't have any sources to really back this up, but like, oh, when you talk shit about somebody's favorite thing, they get so super snowflake triggered, and like, whew, the people that defend Lolicon and Shotacon like adamantly, they get an extra super special kind of triggered. They will go after like anybody that's like, a lot of people that even just say they don't like it.
Where I don't think that has anything to do, and that's why I wanted to make it distinct when earlier it was said that I had a problem with Shotacon, and that was the main issue, because it's not, right?
Mm-hmm.
The issue was the little words that were written in there. Does that make sense? So
yeah, it was the action, not the interests, that Marina was criticizing. The actions, not the interests.
I feel like a lot of people maybe knowing that I don't like Shotacon or Lolicon and seeing that, like, just put the two together in a way that is, I think, unfair for looking at that situation.
But we're talking
and I think
about the document which you shared.
Right. Okay.
Like,
okay.
you
So
didn't
hold on.
say it, but the document you shared was very explicit in calling not only that he was a pedophile, but that he had done this with a real life child.
I never commented on.
Yeah, I've seen people do that with video games, like how if Vosh says he doesn't like a game, his community gets very angry over it. Oh yeah, like when he said the fundamental experience or gameplay experience of fighting games are all the same. Like all of Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Tekken, those stuff, which he's correct on. People are just so ready to attack anybody that goes after the things they like. Yeah, lolicons get extra angry for whatever reason. And I don't even care, personally, I don't care about like lolly or Shota VTubers in specific. Because honestly, a lot of the lolly VTubers I know, that's actually their body type. More of the lolly VTubers that I know are not actually, like 30-year-old men like Rev says Nesu.
On anything
That's the
that
problem.
was in the situation.
You have to comment that part's untrue when you co-sign a document like that. Just like when we started this stream, I started your thread with, I don't believe the doxing.
Okay, so
you have to make these clarifications.
The difference is, I think it's kind of okay. So this is the background and perspective that I come from. That might be a little bit, I don't know. I have written a lot of papers in my lifetime. I have an academic background up through like grad school, where when I think about putting in information, I think about citing a source, and that's kind of something that's baked into me. So in my mind, I was citing the source of those documents. When I cite a source in a paper, I am not, presenting all that information is there just simply to cite the source and give transparency. It's not for me to then like include all of that information or the themes or anything else that might be cited, if that makes sense.
That's actually completely reasonable. I didn't know that. That actually, yeah. Like when you're citing a source for a paper, you're just going to drop a link and then share usually a quote or something directly from there, or your revised version of it, or not revised version, your interpretation of the information. But like with Marina's case, she shared screenshots that were included in there, and it was context. That's what it was. But a lot of people don't see it that way because a lot of people are dumb. Like, think about how dumb the average person is. And then realize that's the average person.
That is my perspective on that. So that is why in the 2 documents that I shared for transparency, for background, is there for people to make assumptions, right? It's like if a news organization says, you know, these allegations have come in, and then the allegations prove to be false, like someone can't sue the news organization for putting those allegations out there.
They actually can in many cases.
It depends. It depends
For
on,
saying it's alleged, for, you know, for doing
how
those
Say it was
things.
alleged.
If they're even
depends on how the news
commenting on it.
organization throws it out there. But
No, if they're
that-
commenting on it,
Yeah.
you legally have to say it's alleged.
Okay.
Right.
Just
I
to
didn't
interject
comment on
here.
it though. That's the important thing to note though.
Okay, Tyga allegedly made jokes about little boys. And then allegedly, in an exoneration doc, confirmed that those DMs were not doctored in any way.
I did not comment on them at all. Where?
Okay.
That's what we're talking about.
Okay. You guys, we're honestly just
Okay.
talking in circles here, and I
Sure,
think we
sure.
have been for the past like 20 minutes.
Sure.
So it's like I see where both sides are.
Honestly, they've been getting into, like, they talk in a lot of circles going on. And there's one common denominator in why they're talking in circles. I wonder if you guys can figure it out.
Coming from as Marina, as a mother myself, I completely understand where the hell you're coming from. So like,
Mhm.
I didn't know she had kids.
it's like, I don't agree with, the shit that Tyga has in his shit. And I've been seeing posts saying
Diapers.
there's a document in 2022 last year where it exonerated everything. I personally didn't look at it, but like, it.
Yeah, that document that confirmed that the screenshots that Marina shared were not fake. That document is the one Lumi is talking about right now.
It's like this is a longer conversation that can go on off stream, and I
Sure.
also don't want to potentially risk any of our Twitch channels possibly getting nuked to the fucking ground by talking about this.
No, it's okay to talk about. We're just not presenting, you're not
Right.
presenting pictures or things like that.
It's not on
Right.
YouTube, and we're not talking about another dude that did weird.
And also, we're sharing opinions.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We're sharing opinions. No one here is making accusations. No one here in this stream is making libelous claims or anything like that. So
Right.
there's nothing that's against TOS. So you know.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar on it myself. I just want
I am towing the line myself. Don't worry about it.
to make sure that everyone's all good in
Yeah.
the room.
I did bring up the exonerating document in my tweet as well. You can see there where I did talk about the main idea again was that it didn't do anything in relation to the whole, like, the actual stuff I was citing in my tweet, which was those DMs. It did not. It actually it confirmed that the DMs were real. And a couple of them
Yep.
were supposed to be explained as jokes, which I don't think was relevant.
So here's my take on this. First, how did you know Tyga? I'm guessing this is just like a random adjacent in the VTuber sphere that you
Yeah.
didn't really know very well.
That's how I
Okay.
would. That's how I would put it out there.
Why did you feel you had to because I understand that there are in some cases ways where you need to inform people,
Yeah.
and that's why I think like it's important to inform people. But why did you personally feel like you had to put that out there? Was his audience engrossed with yours? Was there somebody personal in your life that was affected by this? Why did you feel like this had to be shared with your audience specifically?
Probably because she saw some sussy behavior and was like, that's not good behavior. Regardless of how well she knew Tyga, that type of behavior shouldn't fly in the VTuber scene. That's my guess. Let's see what she has to say.
I mean, can I call you Lumi?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that what you go by? Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, I just want to make sure. Lumi mentioned she was a mother, and I'm also a mother. It's just something that was very deeply personal for me, and I feel like it was something that when I see someone in a community making statements about little boys, it makes me deeply uncomfortable, and it leads me to feel the way that I expressed in that original tweet, that I don't think they, should have a platform in this community if they are, saying things that I think are just, uncomfortable.
Yeah, like personally, I think if you're willing to make such jokes, it comes across as testing the waters, like seeing how far they can get away with it kind of thing. Like, that's my worry. I don't have any actual proof that's what's going to go down. It might literally just be jokes and art I don't like. But I still don't think those jokes really have a place. There's a place for edgy jokes, sure. But I don't know. It would have to be genuinely really thought-provoking and funny for me to make a joke about that. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I don't want people who are saying that kind of stuff in my space. That's just, again, that was my opinion. That was the reason that I went and said it. That was the reason why I did that. I had no personal motive. There was no revenge motive. It's not like I was friends with him and we've lost a friendship or anything, that there was no ulterior motives. It was literally just, my opinion is this is very wrong, and I don't want someone like that in the community, and other people may agree with me. Other people may not agree with me.
Okay.
I hope that
the question
makes
I
sense.
think the average person would have is, why target someone so much smaller than Taiga when you could have talked about HoloLive or any major corporation that actively approves it as well?
What? Like, right here, Marina wasn't going after Taiga because he was a Shotacon. Marina was going after Taiga because he said terrible jokes about little boys. HoloLive just has some lolly VTubers that are popular. Where is the comparison? Yeah, fucking average person asking this question.
What do you mean? I don't have any messages from anyone in I've never seen a message from anyone in HoloLive that says I want to blank a little boy.
Mori is there's literally a whole meme about most of the girls having Fujoshi boy love book. Mori has actively talked about wanting a little boy.
I feel like that's I feel like that's a meme. That,
What?
okay.
But you can argue it's a meme, but she just said some of the stuff in Taiga's document was outed as jokes, and she didn't believe the jokes absolved it.
I don't know. I kind of feel like it's a little bit of whataboutism in this situation.
No, my point is,
It really is, Marina. Good catch.
Target any small trans person saying something extreme I wanted. But is that really doing anything? If I actually believe these opinions are damaging to the community and oppressive, would I not go to the highest people possible? Why would I target some little account who at the time did not have that much of a following?
Maybe it's because something came up on her timeline regarding it or regarding him, and then she decided to say something. And she probably hasn't really seen any of the memes, I guess, in the HoloLive communities, because I don't know if she's actually paying attention to the Corpo VTubers. I think she's doing her own thing, being a girl boss. Pretty sure she never said that. At least nothing like the other person did. Yeah, I have no idea.
I think, again, what I will say is it had nothing to do with size. It had nothing to do with following. I think if it was someone who had 100 followers, if there were images that came out of a person saying those things, I still would have shared it, And also, I want to point out, I was not the only person to share this too, but for some reason, I'm the one who gets all of the flack from it.
False ID still gets hate for it.
I'm sure plenty of people do,
I've
but
actively called them out for it.
All right.
So anyway,
I didn't know False ID called out Taiga or talked about Taiga. I would like to know if that video still exists.
What I will say is, I do agree to some extent that
Also, yeah, I wouldn't really say Taiga is small either. Responding to this Vulcan Productions in Marina's chat, Peggy's at 100,000 followers on Twitch. Like, 100,000. Come on.
Well, I'm not even to some extent. I do agree that people that do that kind of shit should be called out. You know, people like EDP,
Okay.
I feel like should definitely be called out. I do agree that that kind of stuff should be called out. I honestly don't know in the way from what I'm seeing with how you called out, I don't think that's necessarily wrong. Maybe the delivery could be done different. Like, in my personal opinion, if I see somebody that's a predator on the internet, I'm probably just going to retweet the original thing and just say, Ray, read this. I saw this, you know, or something like that. Or, you know, since I'm a commentary channel, if I talk about
Yeah, like what Marina did with her tweet.
I talk about somebody's shitty behavior, how they're acting, or how they're rude to their friends, or all that kind of stuff. I'll say, hey guys, this is something I found on the internet. You know, take it as you will. I'm not going to necessarily say that you are wrong. I don't think you are wrong for wanting to say, hey, this is a bad behavior. If you perceive it as wrong. I mean, again, my personal opinion, I dislike Lolicon, I dislike Shotokan. My personal opinion is because it legally doesn't put them in jail. I don't care, but I don't like it, and I don't want, you know, I don't really want to see it or be a part of it. So
you're entitled to that opinion.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like the issue that I kind of perceive coming from Mizu is the delivery maybe could have been different. I don't know. Like I think it's about how people look at things. I don't know. I think that there is definitely a lot of emotion coming from where you at least from how because I study people, I read how people kind of talk, and from what I'm seeing, there's a lot of emotion that came from where you're coming from. It's just like, I don't like this. As a mother, I'm very deeply saddened by this, and I definitely don't like this. So I want people to understand and see this. Maybe there could have been a better way to throw it out there. Just retweeting somebody saying, "Hey, this is an issue with this guy or this whatever." You know, I don't know. The issue with calling somebody a predator on the internet is that word is so heavily desensitized that even if somebody does post stuff like this or post jokes and stuff like this, I don't know. It's really hard for me because people are going to think I'm very extreme about this, but my personal opinion is if I believe somebody is a pedophile, I have no issues with taking a firearm and ending their life because that is something that is so extreme in my opinion. As someone who has seen it in their family, has had some experience it in their own ways.
Hot take, I prefer the rehabilitation approach rather than retribution. That's just me.
I see it and I know it and it's 100% and the law says it. I have no issue with just saying, you're dead to me. And that is why myself personally, I am very more scrutinous on just randomly calling people a pedophile on the internet. I'm very like, I have to be 100% sure. That's why when it comes to Lolicon and Shotokan, while I deeply don't like it, and while I deeply think it's morally reprehensible, and again, no offense to you, Miso, but I think it's morally reprehensible. I'll still be friends with some people if I know they're a good person. I don't want to shoot. I don't want to kill them because they like that, because they could just be somebody dealing with. Like I've talked to people who've done studies on how Lolicon and Shotokan is a weird response to emotional damage, which I don't understand.
Some people, yes.
But I don't need to understand it because it's their emotional response. But
yeah, like, I'm gonna be real. I got people in my audience, people in my community somewhat, that have a wide variety of opinions regarding Lolicon and Shotokan. Some people see it as a glorification of their trauma. Some people see it as a way to overcome their trauma. How can I really tell them otherwise when they're dealing with their own trauma response? I can just share my opinions regarding the art itself, or whatever. But when it comes to like applying that to VTubers, it gets way more nuanced, and I hate it so much more. But like, I hate talking about it more. My feelings regarding Lolicon Shotokan don't really change. Adding in VTubers just adds a lot more nuance.
But like, I don't know, the way that people perceive how things are sent out, especially on Twitter, I do think there is a way to put it out that is thoughtful and concise and just says, hey, here's this person, this is what I believe, and then there's the emotional response. And the emotional response can be okay, but I think that people can take it the wrong way. I don't know. That's just me though.
I mean, I'm in full agreement with Akko here because, like, you know, a lot of people.
I need to find out who this Inkling is, because like their commentary channel, I want to check them out. They seem pretty based.
Deal with trauma and stuff in various different ways, such as, like, you know, Shota and Lolicon, non-con, in fiction, in stuff, different things. Some people can say that's morally where it's late, I can't speak, but y'all know what I mean.
Right, yeah.
And it's like, if someone's doing it as like a coping mechanism and stuff, can't really flack them on that, but if it's tied into some shit, that's when I can't get past it. I was in a fucking debate with someone in a server the other night where he's like, oh no, but you can't vilify people who are non-offended. No, take them out fucking back, shoot them. It's a community service at that point.
Minecraft.
No, honestly, if you just keep doing that, it's going to force them into repressing themselves and not going to therapy, and then their issues are just going to get worse and worse and worse, and then it's going to keep happening. If you actually want predators to stop doing that, you get them in therapy where they actually stop doing that shit, rather than making them fear for their lives every time they actually have to admit this shit. Like, it's not a fun subject. Nobody really wants to talk about it. But whether you like it or not, or I guess that's just my opinion.
In Minecraft.
Exactly.
In
I would
Minecraft.
highly prefer we keep
For
it
legal.
Careful, guys. FBI is aware about Minecraft. You say in Roblox now on Twitch. I can say what I want on YouTube, because, like, you can get away with a lot of stuff. Like, people say slurs on here.
Reason, so we're gonna not say we're gonna murder anybody, because none of us here would murder anybody.
No, exactly. Absolutely not. That's not up to me. Hope that's never up to me. I never want to have to be.
Yeah.
In Minecraft. Or
Wait, no, you can't joke about attacking people on no, you say in D&D. Oh, that works too. That's a good idea. You can't even joke about attacking somebody in game, essentially, like falsely saying it's in game or jokingly saying it's in game. But you can joke about yourself that way, like joking about doing that to yourself. You can say you're gonna Kermit Sudoku on YouTube as a joke. But like it's weird that YouTube lets that slide. I don't know.
Fortnite, whichever ones the
Bad
cool
at
kids are
PvP, by
playing
the way.
in PvP.
Yeah, I would highly prefer.
I should have mentioned rolling a nat 20 on them. Roll up on them with my GAT 20 in D&D.
Keep the Minecrafting to a minimum.
Yes.
I do know that is one thing you can get in a lot of trouble for. I would rather not.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I
Yeah, that's why I don't really make calls to action against people, like, at all. I just criticize the things they like, the things they say, that stuff. Not actually make calls to action against them. I just like making fun of people on the internet.
think the issue that I'm at least seeing from people, at least from Mizu's perspective and other people, is it felt like an emotional response. And whether or not it's the right or wrong response, I'll be honest, that's up to people's personal interpretation. But Taiga, it looks like Taiga's, I don't know if it's reputational. I honestly don't know this person. But from what I see, it looks like there's been reputational harm. I don't know if this person still streams or whatever.
100,000 on Twitch.
But I don't know. The hard part.
They do.
The hard part here is I'm not going to outright. How do I want to say this? With the lolicon stuff, I'm not going to outright say you shouldn't enjoy that if you don't want to, because again, if it's not against the law, I don't care. But what I will say is, if you're gonna make comments,
Last I heard, it's actually against the law in Canada to import it. It doesn't matter if it's a fake, if it's not real people, it's still depictions of that actions according to Canadian law. But I don't argue on the internet according to Canadian law, because only I follow along with Canadian law. Just saying.
it's about that. Understand that from a business perspective, businesses do not want to work with that. And this is a whole bunch of stuff that especially when I was talking to the co-owner of VStream, if you like that stuff, keep it fucking private, because if you don't, it's going to be very hard for you to get jobs in the business world, because people look at that and people will avoid you like you are mold on a wall. And so
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it was a private server and it's just stuff that got outed, and maybe that's a whole thing. That's a whole completely different.
I'm pretty sure the stuff that Taiga said was in a private server that got leaked by somebody that didn't like him. And then it just kind of spread like wildfire again, because people took a look at the guy and went, oh, so this guy made those statements? Yeah, that tracks. And here we are.
Different, like, privacy and all that shit. But, like, I don't know. I'm going on at this point. It's almost 2 a.m. But
Yeah.
No,
man,
no,
we-
I understand what you're saying.
Man, we were supposed to talk about the whole drama with Fillion's server and shit with Striker's ass coming back and that whole mess, but we could do
don't have
that
enough
next
stuff listed
stream.
out.
I'll do that next time.
I am so sorry for
No,
coming in and taking up so much time.
This is the
Oh,
best
no,
case
no.
scenario. I'll be honest with you. It was absolutely amazing.
And ironically, I think this is the best case scenario as well. Because, like, in a context where you're dealing with a lot of public backlash and accusations, and a lot of people are just unsure about things, if you don't address it yourself, you're just leaving it to the people to make their own decisions, and a lot of the time, they're just going to listen to the loudest voices, which tend to, which might not actually agree with you. They might be against you. So then if you can actually come out yourself and refute this stuff like Marina has been doing like a fucking boss for the last while, it's best case scenario like this.
And chill. And actually, again, my previous conceptions were that you just wanted to dogpile on people or that you just like threw random things out. I don't think that anymore. So
Well,
thank you.
I have to say I really appreciate you taking the time to just talk with me and make your own decision. That's kind of been just my biggest issue with this community is people who, do the I heard about you from a friend and that just kind of and listen, everyone has done it. I've done it too, right? But
Goddamn telephone game. It's just a part of being a public figure. It's not just a VTuber thing, it's a broader creator thing. It's a broader public figure thing. This kind of thing has been going back so long. Like, ever since we've had public figures and the ability to communicate, there have been people that run with narratives that get it wrong.
more often than not, especially when I'm at the receiving end of it, I hope that people can keep open minds and, hear people out. And most importantly, just look for evidence, right? My kind of closing thought on this whole thing is, was it an emotional response? Yeah, absolutely. This is all very, very important to me. I tried to be as logical and thorough and well-written as possible. The thing I really wanted to put out there was that a lot of people were making claims and there just wasn't evidence at all, period, for a lot of these claims. And for, the one or two claims, the evidence that was provided was, I think, arguable in my decision as not being evidence at all for that thing. I think it's been up now for over 24 hours, and I feel like if there was that evidence, my post would be flooded with it. And before anyone, watching says, well, you've blocked everyone, it's not hard to make an alt account. Like, people who I've blocked have made dozens of alt accounts just to come in and say things to me. Like, if the evidence exists, I would be flooded with evidence. That's just my final thought on it, is like, I put
agree
out
with
there
that.
there's no evidence, and there still is no evidence.
Agree to disagree on that.
I mean, I appreciate you
Agree
coming
to
in. Marina.
disagree on that. There's no evidence. Show the evidence. Well, it's out there. It's in all these threads. Okay, so point it out directly. It's out there, trust me.
Well, thank you. No, thank you for having me. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Lumi, Mizu, is it
Akko. Just call me Akko.
Akko?
Yes.
Akko. It was nice to meet all of you, in in this way. If like I said, if I interact with people before, apologies if I have blocked anybody and anyone, would like to be unblocked or anything like that. I might not be aware. You can let me know in the group message after the stream or whatever, but I'm very appreciative of everybody who talked to me, whether there are disagreements or not. Just thanks for giving me a chance. Thanks for asking your questions. And yeah, I respect all three of you for chatting with me.
Yeah, for sure. Really quickly.
Yeah, respect where our credit where it's due. They actually did bother to talk with Marina directly about this. So, despite the actual issues I've had with some of the points brought up here, they still had the courage to talk to Marina directly live about it. That's the shit I like to see. That's what I want to see more of personally. I want to see more people talking out their issues, because like some people get pissy and then they make drama super public, and then it gets out there, and then narratives get spun, and then, well, then we end up talking about really cute trans girls. So maybe it's not all bad.
Before you go, I must ask: have you ever played
Yeah.
Warframe before? Are you a Warframe player at all?
I have played once,
Okay.
only once, and I thought it was cool, but I just never really played it much.
Fair enough. I'm looking for people that enjoy Warframe to play with. So. Sorry, I gotta
Alright,
ask. I just gotta ask. You know, you never know who
Yeah.
might want to enjoy
Feel
it.
free to DM me anytime about, whatever.
Oh, I will also ask you one more question before you go. It's about the
Sure.
thread, but it's not one we have to like super get into because it's not
Okay.
like something you said I disagree with. I was just
Okay.
curious why you chose Yo as the picture to use for it. Like, do y'all have beef or?
No, okay, so
What?
I thought I mentioned this earlier, but the main issue in that situation was just I had been dealing with all this hate this week, and in my mind I was debating whether or not to post something, and that was kind
Right.
of the post that tipped me over the edge. Was me seeing
Right, this is in reference to the screenshot at the bottom of her Twitter post that, addressed all the accusations made against her.
another content creator kind of without any evidence saying things about me, not reaching out to me, right? I would expect that of trolls or people who were arguing in bad faith, right? But of another content creator, that really rubbed me the wrong way, and I felt like they had blocked me, so I couldn't respond to them, I couldn't DM them. And I was looking at the likes and seeing that some of our mutuals were interacting with that post, so I just felt like I had to. I felt like I had to say something about it, because that did make a statement about me and my reputation. So
Yeah, and it kind of led up to that because, like, she did the whole block and ignore thing, which there is nothing wrong with doing. If you don't want to engage with people, you don't have to. But in Marina's case, when she did that, it spiraled into looking like she's ignoring the people that are criticizing her. She's dismissing it as transphobia, that kind of stuff. But then when she actually does confront the accusations against her, they all fall flat on their face. This has been so glorious to watch.
that was the reason why that was the post that was pictured.
Fair enough. I was just curious.
Sure.
I mean, you
Alright, I
addressed
got-
some of that earlier, but I don't think I ever asked you specifically about the picture.
All right,
I don't have any beef with Kyo, to be clear.
I got one more thing from Melia that they wanted me
Okay.
to say.
One last thing,
Let's see. I'm not sure if they want me to say everything, but I'm going to say all the things that they posted anyway.
Sure.
No hard evidence, so I see how things can be misinterpreted. Then they said, I unblocked you. Even if we don't align with some beliefs, I won't attack you.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
No. I mean, I won't attack you either. I
refuse to
hope
believe
we.
respect for burying the hatchet. I genuinely hope it stays that way. I genuinely hope Melia can not have such a chip on their shoulder holding such grudges. It's extremely unhealthy for them.
I'm
can-
blocked, but you haven't already blocked Melia's new account. That is haram.
What?
I don't know if Melia's saying like he's the one who blocked you and you didn't block him, but I know I'm blocked. I refuse to believe that I got blocked over Melia.
No, Melia was
I-
saying that they unblocked
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Marina. I apologize if
okay,
any
okay.
of that was misconstrued. I was just reading
Uh,
verbatim.
That was what I understood. It sounded to me like Melia was saying they unblocked Marina because they were trying to like bury the hatchet, right? Why is Mizu making it about them?
I
Okay,
swear to
okay,
fucking
okay.
God. Go! My fucking cat.
Well, yeah. No, I appreciate the opportunity. I'll go ahead and let y'all wrap up. Have a good night, everyone.
Have a
Thank
good
you
one.
for
Thank
chatting.
again. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I hope next time we chat, it's under better circumstances.
Sure. Reach out anytime. Honestly.
Awesome.
All right. Well,
All
have
right,
a good night.
Bye. Good night. All right, chat.
Do we want to go
All
over her
right.
thoughts? Her post conversation thoughts? I'm kind of thinking it. Man, that was a long one. Like, we'll go until. Okay, she's doing a break pretty shortly, and then I guess she's going to talk about something else. I'm not sure.
That was unexpected. And ad is gonna start. Give me 1 second, okay? And then we'll recap, okay? BRB 1 second.
Okay, she's BRBing now, and jump ahead. Get her thoughts post
Said.
conversation.
You
Stop it. I'm going to get Marina's thoughts post conversation, and then I'll be sharing my wrap up thoughts once we've listened to what she had to say. Part of me did actually want to go through like all of her stream, but on the other hand, it's already like a 5-hour stream where she largely goes over the Twitter post that she had made before the conversation that we had been covering started. So, like, right now, I don't have anything more to say because I'm gonna wait until she comes back. Oh, there we go. I love her transition, by the way.
All right, gamers. Oh my gosh. Hi. My phone is so hot from all the tracking.
I
Hi,
believe
holy
it.
shit. That was an experience. I want to say thank you. I'm just gonna mute that stream because they're still talking. But I want to say thank you to everybody who stood by me. Thank you for all the love. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
God, she really did so well that conversation. Just saying.
You know, to everyone who hung out, everyone who listened to everything that was said. You know, I said this earlier about Glitch. Like, when I told my story about Glitch Energy, and I told my story about how they had to do an investigation because of all the things that were being said, you know, all the lies that were being said, I was not offended by them doing an investigation. I want people to have confidence in their trust of me, right? So for me to be able to have that opportunity and talk in a situation where there are people that I know maybe very much...
Oh, okay, I guess she's not going directly into this, but earlier in this stream, like part of what I had watched live, she had mentioned that when the accusations against her started coming out on the Glitch announcement tweet, before even reaching out to Marina, they launched their own investigation and like tried to get to the bottom of it. Is this shit real? What's actually going on? And then they came to their own independent conclusion that, yeah, this is all Twitter drama bullshit. Like, literally, Twitter drama cancel culture bullshit. Marina cool. And then they went ahead with the sponsorship. And that's basically the context behind the Glitch investigation of her. They looked into it before even talking to her and realized that the people calling her out were full of shit. Shocker.
Against how I think of things. And for you, as my audience, to witness it, I would hope that that would be able to, you know, make people feel reaffirmed or bring up any questions that people might have. Like, I don't exist and do things to be right. I do them because I want to be the best person I can be. And if I make
I do things to be right.
a mistake, if I'm wrong in my thinking, I want to grow from it, right? I want to continue on this journey where I can always learn, always grow, always be a better person, right? So I hope that I did that well tonight. What I was going to say is I know I have a lot of friends, a lot of streamer friends that were around, like Faye or Cuppy or Nikki. If anyone is feeling up to it, any streamer friends who have been like on my stream before, let me put it that way. If anyone would like to maybe hop in a call and debrief or give your opinion on things, I would be happy to have you on. But yeah, that's totally up to anyone that might want to come and chat about stuff. Yeah, I would say, like, you know, if you were here at the beginning of my stream when I went over my whole document, you know, I made it really clear that I wanted to try to avoid talking about people's names directly, especially because, you know, not involving them. Being in that discussion, I couldn't really avoid that.
I'm gonna be honest. I get that people want to not point fingers directly, but when you leave it to just not saying the names, you lead people to jump to their own conclusions, like we know that they do, and sometimes that can actually lead people to jumping to the wrong conclusion. Shocker, but it might actually go after somebody you're not actually talking about. It's part of why I don't like vague tweeting. Like, if I do something you got a problem with, call me out on it. We can talk. On stream or off, I don't care. I'd prefer on stream, because I like having a record of all my arguments. But, like, I'm cool with talking privately. You got an issue with me, that's fine. We can talk about it. Honestly, the only thing that I would really talk about with Marina that I have a disagreement with would be the boycotts, and it's really not that huge of a thing for me to talk about. I just have one point to regarding why she believed the boycott was valid. We'll get into that a little bit later.
But yeah, it was what it was, and I think in the context of that, it wasn't anything that was meant to be a malicious move or anything like that, right? Yeah. You handled that 100% better than I would have, even more considering your own life experiences. I just tried to do my best. Pran, I want to commend you for being so level the entire time. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. You did amazing. Thank you, Nikki. My respect for you has grown, Marina. You handled that so much better than I could have. Thank you. Thank you, Draconic.
Seriously,
yeah,
she did
I don't know. There were
handle
definitely
this
some things
super
that I
well.
disagreed with. There are some things that I think were, you know, they came from a perspective that I think we just weren't going to see eye to eye on. And, you know, that's okay. Look, it's one thing for someone, you know, to talk to me and say, I disagree. I think that, you know, I think you were crossing into the line of harassment, or I think you do owe someone an apology. You know, respecting an opinion or doing something like that, that's all fine, you know? But I don't know. That's
But a lot of the stuff that was levied against you was not that. A lot of the stuff that was levied against Marina was vibes. It was feelings. It wasn't actual evidence against her. It was the telephone game doing its thing.
it kind of is what it is. But yeah, Pren, thank you. Cuppy, thank you everyone who's, you know, said nice things. Thank you for your DM, Cuppy. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, if anyone wants to chat with me or follow up after that, that's okay. I'll hop into, I think all of you are in there. If anyone, you know, anyone who I'm mutuals with, who's like a fellow streamer, who I've like collabed with before, or whatever, you know, people I'm close with. I don't want that to be an awkward position where, like, you know, if I'm not really close with
That it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. I'm not actually offended.
you, you're like reaching out to me. I appreciate everyone's support, but I want to keep it with my comfort zone right now, especially after that.
It's honestly, legitimately, totally reasonable. Like, she and I are not oomfies. I follow her, and like, while I would love to talk to her, I'm not really going to go out of my way to try and goad a conversation out of her. Mostly because I don't have a productive conversation I can really have with her. Maybe we could talk about boycotts broadly, but aside from that, we agree on like basically everything.
But I will be in the VTX channel right now. If anyone who is, you know, anyone who does want to hop on stream and chat with me about it, I'm happy to do that. If I was in bed, I would. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I just think it's I would be curious to hear anyone else's perspective on things, because, you know, I just don't want to come out of that being like, I think I proved my points, because I mean I do, but, you know, I'm curious to hear how other people are feeling on that. Mizu was 100% looking for a fight. That's the kind of person he is and the kind of people he attracts. I don't know Mizu, okay?
Is that? I wonder if that's actually a fair characterization of Mizu. If it is, Mizu, let's debate.
I may have blocked Mizu. I still don't know if I have or haven't. I haven't looked or anything.
I haven't. I haven't blocked Mizu. I haven't blocked anybody.
I don't know, right?
Except 3 minors.
I don't know, I don't know them, right? I don't know them. I can't pretend to understand them, their community, where they're from, right? So it is what it is. I can't speak to that. Do I feel like they were a bit biased in the way that they discussed with me? Yeah, I do. I think they were biased. I think they really went in there with their mind made up, as opposed to like, I finally have a chance to listen to Marina talk. It was just kind of like, now I get a chance to tell Marina all the things I feel, which is...
It's like, honestly, it felt like Mizu was going in there perhaps trying to trying to clip chimp her, get her to, or like gotcha her with some of the stuff that he was saying. Kind of, that was the vibe that I got from Mizu's performance there. What was it? Orqua? I can't remember. That other person, the one that looked like an inkling, and Lumi. I gotta ask Lumi who that was. Those two, I actually really liked them. They did pretty well here.
It's okay. You know, I was happy to hear all those things, but at the end of the day, I think something that was a bit reassuring too was like hearing the collective panel of the three, none of them being my friends or people I know, like having people agree with certain things, you know? I don't know I don't know what people's communities are like. I don't know, you know, who they keep friends with. I don't know their thoughts and opinions on things. I literally was just, hey, here's an opportunity for me to pop in and answer any questions. That's what I originally went in there to do, and then when they invited me onto their stream, I was like, oh shit, well, let me see if chat doesn't mind me doing that today, right?
And God, I'm so glad she did that. Cause like initially I was just going to cover the or I was just going to give the cliff notes essentially of her response. Like I was going to cover the tweet that she put out, and then she went live to talk about it, and then I was going to basically recap it for people that don't actually know. And then the conversation happened, so I was like, okay, I'm covering that. This developed so much, wow. And honestly, I really think that was actually a really productive conversation overall.
Bully, I mean, look, I want to be respectful of the people that I talk to. I don't know if I would say that they bullied me. I can't speak to any of their activity outside of this debate, right? It didn't really sound like they were open to listening to what I was saying.
I don't think it was outright bullying, but it was certainly bad faith acting on Mizu's part.
You know, they did agree to some things, they disagreed to a lot of things, and I think they just kind of have a different perspective at the end of the day, right? And that's, at the end of the day, it's fine. I'm not here to please everyone. I can't please everyone. I don't want to be everyone's friend, and I can't be everyone's friend. Okay, that's a lie. I do want to be everyone's friend. That's just the people pleaser in me. But I can't be everyone's friend, right? I just can't, you know? The rational part of me knows, like, I can't please everyone. I can't get everyone on my side, and it doesn't devalue me if someone doesn't like me or someone disagrees with me, right? That's something that I've had to learn through growing up.
Yeah, that's something you also really got to learn if you want to be a creator, like a VTuber or like any kind of public figure. If you're in the public eye, there's always going to be people that hate you. There's always going to be people that look for reasons to hate you. Doesn't matter how friendly, nice, or awesome you are. There will always be detractors.
Yeah, it just kind of it is what it is, right?
Is what it is.
But yeah. No,
Yeah,
I really do mean it though. When I here's the thing, you know, even people that might have feelings about Mizu, at least I will put out there, they were willing to talk to me. A lot of people are not willing to do that, right?
Yeah, most people will just make the accusations, and then when confronted on the accusations, they just clam up and run away. Mizu at least stayed in the call, kept talking with her.
A lot of people would turn tail and run when I asked them to, like, actually debate me in a situation like that. So, you know, props to them for talking to me and being honest. That's what I said too. Like, listen, if you don't like me, let me know you don't like me. If you think something I did was wrong, let me know that you think it was wrong, right? I want to be able to respond to things. I want to be able to give my fair shake of, like, well, I don't agree with that, or I can see where you're coming from, you know, even like that. Like, I don't know. They made a point where they're like, it seems like your apology is kind of like, I'm sorry that you feel that way. And I had to think about it, and it was like, it kind of is, in a way. And I think that was a valid thing to say.
And personally, I don't think that's a wrong thing to do either. It's like, I guess playing the victim here, and he's the one winning the most right now, despite being ultra mega omega mega super duper canceled.
because I'm not sorry for a lot of things, right? Like, I'm not sorry for expressing my opinion or thinking something was gross or like not being okay with something, or, you know, voicing my opinion that I didn't think someone needed a place in the community, right? And that's why it was like, if there legitimately was a concern that I was spreading accusations, well, then I'm sorry for that, because that was not my intentions. But that was it, you know? I think I don't even think it's really something I have to apologize for, but it's more of a like, they put it this way after I left, actually. When I was on BRB and waiting for the ad to end, I kind of checked in. They said something like, you know, when you tell a kid to apologize, and it was like, it is kind of like a, well, I could apologize for this, I guess, but if you're asking me what I'm sorry for, like, I'm not sorry for saying what I said, you know? I think it comes down to,
Yeah, I really got the feeling they were trying to bait a apology out of her to try and make her look like the loser in this debate.
the way of seeing that, right? Can I ask you to be my Oshi? You've inspired me, of course, of course, of course. I fucking love all of you, honestly. Like, I really appreciate the engagement and the support and everything that's happened. Let me put it this way, those of you that actually hung out with me, stood by me, listened to me, took a part in that, like, I'm gonna fucking remember this, right? And this was a, you know how Twitch has like moments, which they canceled? This would have been a fucking moment, gamers. This would have been a moment that we all shared together. And so everyone here, everyone who kind of hung out and supported me, you're homies, right? You're homies, and I can't thank you enough. I am someone who is, I like to think of myself as a confident speaker. I like to think of myself as, you know, I can articulate a thought. That being said, I was still very nervous. You know, I was very nervous because it's like, well, what if...
Oh god, naturally, you're going into basically the lion's den at that point. Because, like, she was jumping into a drama podcast, and the topic of the night was her. So, like, of course you're going to have some nerves for, literally jumping into the fire.
What if I'm wrong, right? What this whole situation, like this whole week, has like instilled a lot of self-doubt in me, and I've had to rebuild that confidence, but, you know.
God, I really hope this stream really helped build her confidence back up. She did have a follow-up recap stream the following day that I caught a fair portion of. It seemed like she's been doing a lot better. Doing really well.
You know, it was a matter of like, what if I'm wrong? What if they bring up points that are right? And, you know, I don't have a response to them. You know, those are the things that I end up thinking. But at the end of the day, knowing that I had all of y'all here and like the things that you were saying and the support that you were giving me, it really, really meant a lot to me. So thank you, honestly. You are fucking lovely. Thank you. Honestly, I just getting all the love that I'm getting right now for going through that and experiencing that, is such a stark contrast to all of the hate that I was getting during my break. All of the hate that I've been getting while I haven't been streaming. I felt so isolated. I felt so alone. I have felt so dragged down.
God, and they've been like dragging her ever since the Hogwarts Legacy shit too. Actually, no, haven't they been dragging her since the Taiga call-out post? They might not have been actively doing it, but they've been holding that grudge for like ever. Because a lot of the people that don't like her, well, they like a certain kind of art, and the people that like that kind of art tend to hold the grudges. They like their grudges, and they don't like to forget about the people they don't like. So, as far as I understand, Marina is going to keep living rent-free in their head, and they can't really do anything about her being awesome and succeeding.
Right. But it's made me I feel really good. Oh shit, you got canceled? Did you tell someone you weren't LGTV enough? Hi, Augie. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Stood up for you through bad shit before, stood up through it now and will in the future. Thank you, Tomo. I appreciate it. I really do. I've seen a lot of debates and you did great. You want to know what's funny? I think that was like, besides like maybe high school project things, that was like the first time I've ever like debated anybody. And the only reason I even felt confident was because it was about me. It was about me and myself and my, you know, my ability to do that, because I knew that someone could have been like, here's the thing. The fear, of course, is that someone drops the old like, well, what about this, Marina? And then they like have a screenshot of some tweet that looks really bad that I don't even remember doing, and I don't even know how to explain it, right? Like, in my head, I like to think like, well, I know the kind of person I am, and I know the kind of things that I do and say, and I don't think I would be in that situation, but, you know, I can't help but, like, worry.
Yeah, because, like, you're going to forget a lot of the stuff you might actually tweet. I'm pretty sure I've forgotten a lot of stuff I tweet, but, you know, there's a Wayback Machine, and that can unearth some stuff. I mean, look at Russell Brand. He's got a tweet going around from 2010. Even I quote tweeted it saying, "What did he mean by this?" Thinking emoji. Like, what you say is out there.
Yeah, always a scary feeling to make yourself vulnerable like that. Yeah, this is a perfect summary of her stance. You're actually willing. Oh, let me see what you said. But you're actually willing to check the content of the inside of your head with people around you rather than just shutting down and being self-righteous. I think that's important. I think that's important. I think everybody needs to do that, right? I think everybody, literally everybody, always needs to do that. I think if there are times where you have self-doubts, or there are times when someone presents an issue to you, you can't just go, nah, fuck them. I'm right. I'm always right. Like, you can't do that, right?
That's why I say I'm always right, but prove me wrong, motherfuckers.
Some people do. Plenty of people do.
So far, I actually haven't been proven wrong yet. I was right about Rev Says Desu in the Gwen Stacy video. I was right about fucking heels versus babyface. And I'm sure there was more, but I'm biased enough to believe it.
What you really should do is surround yourself with people that you know are honest. And that's the thing. I have a lot of people who I'm like...
Oh god, true. I would hate having just yes men around me. Like, I want to know if my ideas are legitimately shit. Call me on my bullshit. Please.
Like, best friends with. I have Fen, right? I didn't go to Fen and say, what do you think about this? Because I know Fen really loves me. And while Fen can be honest with me, I don't want to put her in that situation. Right? And I didn't go to other people who I'm like really close friends with. I went to people who I felt would be more honest with me. People that I either know to be honest people, or whatever, you know, like just people that I think would be direct with me. And I feel like I got some really good honest feedback on everything. And that's what I recommend that everyone do, right? It's part of growing up. It's part of like, and I don't mean that as like just growing up from a kid to an adult, but I mean just the continuing to grow in your life, right? To grow as a person.
Yeah, a lot of people don't actually realize this, but adulthood is not where you stop growing. You can always keep learning new things and becoming a better person. Nobody is perfect. Remember that. You always have the capacity to grow and change. I am always surprised by humans' capacity to grow and change. Like, a lot of people used to be horrible people, like terrible garbage people. One of them is talking to you right now. But they can change. People can change. Not everybody, but there are people that realize they're just putting out negativity, they're just putting out harm, and they're not doing anything with their life but going in circles and just letting it all fester. But they don't like it. They just can't seem to find a way to break out of that cycle. But once they do, eventually, I hope they do find a way to break out of that cycle. And a lot of the time, it's leaving the communities that are perpetuating that cycle. The thing is, a lot of the time, it's those communities saying that no one outside will ever accept you because you've done all this horrible shit. So you might as well lean into it further, right? Wrong. I accept people that have made mistakes in their past and then recognized their mistakes, owned their mistakes, and then stopped doing it, and then like continued to not do that behavior. Why would I hold their past actions against them if they've actually recognized the problem with their previous behavior? Like, seriously. Some people just want to dismiss a person 100% off of old shit that might not even apply to a person anymore. Like, even with Tyga, I don't know if he's still making those kinds of jokes. So, like, if he stopped making those kinds of jokes, I honestly don't give a shit about the dude. I'd prefer he keeps minors out of his community, because like if you are involved with not safe for work art at all, and then you leave the door open to let minors in, that's just a very bad look for somebody with a child coded character that has receipts of very sussy jokes in the past. It leads to me thinking that it might not actually change, which is the big problem to me. I want positive change in the world, and obviously that's all based on my own arbitrary morals. But that's all I can really do. I can argue for what I think is a good world, a best way, or I can only argue for good ways to go after that world or try to achieve that world. But in the end, it's all my opinion.
You need to surround yourself with people who aren't just like yes men, right? If you surround
Yes,
yourself
queen.
with people that just all they want to do is worship you and tell you how right you are all the time, you're never going to grow, right? You need people that are going to be honest with you. I don't know. I'm sure we all know people that surround themselves with, you know, that, and they just drop anybody in their life that disagrees with them. I'm sure everyone has experienced that at some point in their life.
I'm trying to think, but I don't. Wait, yeah. That's legit happened to me. I actually made a video about it. If you go back into my videos or you search my channel for the video Is Fuda a Slur? I actually talk about this. It happened to me.
Hi, Mom.
And
Hi.
it's rough, right? It's something that people have to learn. I wanted to DM you something, but I don't know what to say. It isn't just, I'm sorry you're going through this. No, I appreciate that, Vulcan. Honestly, even just people showing up in stream and talking to me is really, I appreciate that. I know this shit has to be on you. Why does it have to be on the trans person to be reasonable in the face of unreasonable shit? I don't know. I always try to do my best. You know? Am I a master debater? Thank you, Jay. I appreciate that. You did great because you were actually debating. I mean, the thing was, I was trying to listen. I was trying to...
Exactly. Marina, exactly. You were actually debating because you were listening to their points and responding to it. I can't say the same for all the people talking to you. Well, two of the people talking to you were doing the same thing, but one of them really rubbed me the way of they weren't really listening to what you had to say.
I wasn't just trying to speak. I was trying to understand. I was trying to understand perspective. I was trying to, like, keep track of what was being said and be able to, like, loop it back to things that were said before, right? I didn't really get onto this, but a couple people in chat had mentioned, like, you know, it was thrown around to me that, like, well, harassment is legally has to be in person.
That is such a dumb one. And again, there was a court case in Japanese court by I'm gonna double check my source. What was the name? Judge Masatoshi Ishimaru rules in favor of VTuber in defamation case. Even if the insult was direct, or quote from the judge, even if the insult was directed at an avatar on the surface, it can be recognized. Oh no, that's unrelated to the point. But wait, no, yeah, that is literally relative to the point. Even if the insult was directed at an avatar on the surface, it can be recognized it was directed at the person who works as the avatar. So it was the woman who was defamed, the court said. So, like, even if the defamation is being only done online, you're still defaming the person. Doesn't matter if they're anonymous or not with their VTuber, you're still defaming a person. Japanese court said. And, like, let's be real. Are there any indie Japanese VTubers that have like 1 million followers on Twitter? Because like the article came out last year and it was talking about a Japanese VTuber with 1 million followers. Obviously the VTuber wasn't directly mentioned because it's a court case and their name is public, so they're not going to actually tie, or I'm guessing Japanese court has their stuff public, but probably not. I don't know. I don't know. But it was never actually named who the VTuber was, just that was the court case that it was, or that's what the case was revolving around.
But then later on, I was being told that, like, someone was harassing something, or, like, other things, and I think someone in chat, like, a couple people in chat pointed out, like, isn't that contradicting what they said earlier? And
Yes,
I saw things like...
Mizu contradicted themselves, like, multiple times there, actually. I don't know if I even caught multiple, like, all the times, but I mean, you guys can see chat going up. Mostly.
But it's hard to keep track of everything, and I think that's the art of debating, right? Is like keeping track of everything that's being said and knowing when you can poke holes in those things, but like
Actually, no, the art of debating is not what you say, it's what you leave out. If you can get people to start going after top or points that you know you can take them on, and you just hook them into that, you can make them look very, very bad in a debate.
for me, again, it wasn't about winning. It was about listening, and it was about being able to present my case in a way.
Yeah, like, I'm having a lot of fun calling this a debate, but in reality, what Marina wasn't doing was an actual debate. She was just trying to get to the bottom of the accusations levied against her, at least in my opinion.
That made sense to people, you know? I fuck with narcissism. Save ass, because I know myself best. Yeah. TBH, I feel like the Squid Girl and the Mermaid Girl were respectful throughout. Yeah, yes, I think Akko and Lumi were very willing to listen to what I had to say and to try to make sense of it, of what I was saying, you know? And both of them would agree with certain things that I was saying. You know, I'm not going to say that they agreed with everything I said, because I don't think they agreed with everything I said, and that's okay, right? At the end of the day, not everyone has to like me, not everyone has to agree with me. The only thing I want is for people to not go out of their way to be malicious towards me. That's it, right? There are plenty of people that I don't like. I don't want to be malicious towards them. I don't want anyone to be malicious towards me. I think one of the things that was, you know, hopefully good and sticks to come out of this too, was like having a couple people were in chat that I have, you know, either had disagreements with, or people that didn't like me, or whatever it might be.
Yeah, like the people literally beefing with her.
But
were
they
in
were there
chat.
to listen. I
Some
had a
of them.
couple people say they had newfound respect for me. And that's all I want, right? All I want is for people to be able to actually listen to me and be like, oh, damn, Marina's not some kind of evil monster. Marina actually, you know, did things that I didn't realize, or didn't do things that I heard she did, right? Like, that's kind of just what happened there in the situation.
The internet lied? What a shocker. But yeah, I completely get where she's coming from. Like, it's good to be able to have the opportunity to actually talk with, you know, your detractors who are trying to spread stuff, or knowingly or unknowingly. If they're spreading stuff, you don't want them to get away with the telephone game, do you? So it's actually, that's why I think it's best for the person being called out to properly address what they're being called out for.
I mean, I only followed you just tonight, and I still haven't seen a single thing you did wrong. You know, you let me know if you do. That's what I'm looking for. They're so civil till you leave. I don't get people. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if anyone's still watching them, and I'm not. I don't want anyone to, you know, I don't want anyone to go and give anyone shit or anything like that. Like, that was not my intention. Of, you know, involving them with my stream or anything like that tonight.
And I will say, I'm not even going to bother going to see what they have to say afterwards. I would like to... It would be pretty interesting to talk to Mizu about this, or, you know, pronouns, whatever. I'd actually like to talk to Mizu about whatever. I think there'd be a lot of fun to talk to.
I also have to, you know, something you have to realize too is, like, they're all debating me, and it seems like they're all to some extent friends. And you could see that there were some disagreements that were had between some of them as friends or whatever they are. But at the end of the day,
Mizu and Lumi have done streams together before. That's basically the extent of my knowledge. From my interactions with Lumi, she's pretty pog. I like her overall.
Their friendship with each other is probably, you know, more in depth than they're just meeting me, right? So whatever, like, you know, they can feel the way that they want to, and that sort of thing. I hope they continue to stay respectful. That's it.
Are we going for a while more after this?
And yeah, like Serena in chat, I don't, like, I remember that there was a thing where, like, Mizu said something to you. I don't know the context of what you're saying, and, you know, I hope you don't take what I said personally. Anyone who says anything in my chat, I take with a grain of salt, unless I have hard evidence of knowing something happened or something was said or whatever. I can't just take people's word for it. So that's just all I was saying in that situation. And it was kind of tying back to the whole argument in the first place that we were having, right? About whether to take things, what do you call it, with a grain of salt or not.
With a grain of salt or personally.
Okay, so let me see. I feel Marina above the Call of Duty for that. You were nothing but civil, and honestly, more than I think a lot of us would have been. I don't know. I hope that I was respectful. I hope I didn't come across as disrespectful or, not listening or anything like that.
I think she came across really respectful in this, but it looks like she's winding down with her post-conversation commentary. If anybody knows if she said anything further in there, please leave a comment below. I actually need to be RB real quick, and then I will provide my thoughts. Okay, I'm back. Alrighty, so pretty much, yeah, after going through all of that, I honestly only have one piece of criticism against Marina, and it's something I fully believe she is wrong on. Okay, yeah, I'm not muted, good. It has nothing to do with what she's been called out for. It is completely unrelated to all of it. It's just something that I noticed, well, back when she tweeted it. I just didn't really push back on her because personally, I don't think it's that big of an issue. Not to me anyways, but if I'm being honest, Marina, you got something wrong. You misrepresented or you saw a headline of an article and you kind of ran with it. You didn't really look at the article. So have a little bit of good faith criticism. You tweeted out Happy Trans Day of Visibility. Remember, when people say protests and boycotts don't matter, they are wrong. So I agree that protests matter and some boycotts matter. In terms of the Hogwarts Legacy boycott, your tweet kind of implied that this article reinforced your point of being pro boycott, but when you go through the article, it stops. It's actually talking about the production company that handles film and TV stuff, which dropped 74% in its profits. And I believe, where was that? According to Deadline, Bron's pre-tax profit was 1.8 million pounds? I don't know. In the 12 months to March 2022. And like this is the earnings report blamed lower income streams and profit shares from theatrical productions, which were closed for a large part of the financial period due to COVID restrictions. According to the publication, Harry Potter theatrical production reported a revenue of £3.5 million in 2022, a 65% drop from 2021 $6.6 million. So, like, the boycott regarding around Hogwarts Legacy has nothing to really do with this. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if there's like a broader constant boycott J.K. Rowling going on. But if there is, please don't try and boycott the next Harry Potter game to come out. I don't think it actually directly harms the trans community. because it was based on a franchise made by a person that directly harms the trans community. There is a bit of a separation of the artist and the art there. But that's just my 2 cents. Does that make it really worth canceling her over? No, not in my opinion, not at all. Is it something that I definitely could have brought to her in DMs? Yeah, actually, I probably should have done that a while back. But why am I bringing it up now, essentially out of nowhere? Well, because with all the claims made against Marina, I figured people might as well have a idea of what an actual criticism is of something, of her behavior. And to reiterate my overall feelings, I really like Marina. She's a great voice for trans rights. I think she should keep going. I want her to keep going. And her response to this entire backlash against her over the energy drink sponsorship, all of that, her response to all of this has just made me like her more. I know there's going to be people that still have their opinions. They're not actually going to watch what Marina had to say on her stream. They're not actually going to read the tweet she put out. Where is it, by the way? I will show you guys one last time. But I'm not terribly worried about showing it every stream because, like, as far as I know, she just doesn't delete tweets. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. This big old thread that she went through. And she talked about, like, all of it on stream. The conversation started up on stream when she got towards the conclusion. Like, she had finished talking about her own perspective of Tyga, and then goes on break, comes back, and conversation that we just finished covering. But honestly, I agree, yeah. Marina is one of them VTubers that I respect. And honestly, with how she responded to this cancellation of her, I'm happy to say she's one of my Oshis now. Fucking ride or die Marina now. No, but seriously, if I do think Marina has something worth criticizing, I'll criticize it. But I mean, the only thing, after going through all of this stuff, I've gone through a hit piece video against her, I've gone through her that tweet, I've gone through her conversation with those people, and the only criticism I have is something that's not even related to any of this cancellation against her. And even then, it's like something so small and off to the side. I don't even know if she's going to bother watching this. If she does, you got another ally, Marina. To be fair, I was on board before all this came out, because, like, if somebody's using their platform to promote trans rights, I'm going to be pretty deferential to you. But then if you handle it the way, like, you just did, I'm going to really like you. But that's just my opinion. And I'm entitled to my opinion. Everybody is. Oh my god. That was a long one. I think that was like 6-7 hours of content about Marina. Let me confirm, actually. No, that's the YouTube video folder with stream recordings. 4 hours and 45 minutes from yesterday, and then like 2 hours 15. I'm gonna go with like two hours. Fuck it. So, like, yeah, just under 7 hours of content of Marina. If I had like one more story to talk about, literally all 5 videos for next week could be about Marina. But like the first video is going to be about Kirsch talking about kiwi farms, so that one's going to be fun. And then the following 4 days is just going to be the coverage of Marina. I've decided I'm not going to make it just one big video to release, because like, who's going to watch a 7-hour video? Let's be real. I might release it as like a full 7-hour thing on its own, but like during the week I'm going to release it in its parts, where I cover the hit piece, where I cover the tweet, where I cover the first half of the conversation, where I cover the second half of the conversation. Like I'm going to break it up into the content. You'd actually watch a 7-hour video? I don't blame you. I actually would too. I've listened to like 4-hour long videos, 5-hour long videos. Though I'll be fair, a lot of the time I just pause and then come back to it later. But I mean, that's not that big of a deal. It's just we're the minority, Raj. Not everybody watches that long of content. Most people prefer short content. Oh my god, if I cut this up into like 15-minute videos, it would be nothing but Marina content for the rest of the year. I wouldn't have to stream. But I'm not going to milk that. I'm not going to milk the drama for all that, for that long. I'm so tired. Vivi, no. Vivi, why? Vivi's getting into Elfin Lied. That's not a good one. I don't like it. Yeah. You saw her tweet, yeah. Okay, I'm just browsing Twitter at this point. You watched that anime years ago? Yeah, me too. I first watched it in high school, forever ago. Oh yeah, I gotta add description to that video. Coming out. I'm tired. How about you guys? Still watching One Piece? Don't blame you. Only 3 likes. Come on, guys. Like the stream, please. I don't care that much. It's honestly not that big of a deal to me, but it does really help. More than you know. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm done with recording content for the week. What's it? Part of me is tempted to watch the dub of One Piece. Like, if I ever get the time to actually properly watch it. Also, thank you for the likes. It legit helps. I also know that One Piece is very, 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 very long. And people really hate the dub. But I hate watching subbed stuff. Current dub is on hiatus due to strikes. Oh, that's not pog. But I imagine by the time I catch up to the current episode of One Piece, it would be off the strike. I would hope the strike would be over by then. Damn, what else can I talk about? What should I talk about next weekend? Oh wait, it's going to be more than just me talking next weekend. It's going to be me and Hayami doing our Donathon. We're going to be trying to raise money to cover a song together, do a duet. And if we raise enough money, We're going to turn it into an animated video. Yeah, that's going to be next weekend. It's going to be like, it's going to be long streams. 2 longer streams, I would say, no longer than 12 hours each. One Saturday and one Sunday. I'm still not entirely sure what we're going to be doing there, but we'll be figuring it out. I'm sure Hayami and I can find a few things to talk about. Don't mind me, I'm just getting my weed ready before I disappear on you guys. I just wanted to hang out a little bit longer before I end stream. You want to say hi to me? What do you mean? Oh yeah, during that stream next week? Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one. Cause like Felicity and I are friends. Like more than just friend of stream friends. We actually talk. You know something I could cover on the weekend after next? I could cover a debate about LollyCon again. Who wouldn't want to see that? Though, I'm gonna be real, I'd rather not be covering debates, I'd rather be doing them myself. Because a lot of the time, I don't like the arguments that get made. Don't mind me just getting weed ready. I'm pretty sure I said that, but I'm not high enough to remember. Whew. Man, I'm so mad I accidentally got those titties on screen last stream. I lost out on 68 hours of watch time. God, that... Ah. Oh well. You live and learn. Honestly, the watch hours come pretty quick with streaming on YouTube. The streaming and the videos. Doing both of those, holy shit, it's really good for the growth. Oh, that's why my audience is dying, obviously, because Vosh is live. That's why my audience is dwindling. He's stealing all my look. Wait, what happened last time? Wait, what do you mean? What happened last time? I literally forget the context. Like, literally, I forget what happened last stream, last little bit. Welcome back. I'm gonna be ending stream really pretty quick soon. Oh yeah, I gotta reply to your comment. Deal breaker for relationships for me? Cheating is a big one. The titties or something? Oh, gross, it's showing top chat. Oh, right. Last stream, I went on to Twitter and then searched for an account, and then I forgot to stop displaying the Twitter screen, and then hentai, like just titties, like boobies popped up onto screen for 4 seconds. And then when I had to basically cut that out and then re-upload the VOD essentially. The first time I tried to do it, it only exported like 2 hours of the VOD. So then I put out the first part as well. And then I figured out how to do the entire thing, and now that's out there. So like I lost all those watch hours for the VOD, but it is still out there. I've started a new playlist. So in case something like that happens again and the VODs get removed from the live section where all my VODs are kept, then you have that playlist. So good times, good times. Aside from my stream next weekend, I will actually be doing another collaboration stream. I'm going to be going on to Ollie Rain's stream. We're going to be playing some Left 4 Dead 2. And if you're unable to catch that on Tuesday evening, like 6 p.m. Pacific, I'm going to try and get like a, either get an edited highlight reel version of it out or put out the full my end recording. But I'm not going to be streaming it that day. Because like it's a Tuesday, I work that day. I'm not actually full on going to be streaming, but I can play a game for a couple hours. Throw on my VTuber and shoot the shit with a guy while we're stoned. Sounds like fun, honestly. Okay, I'm gonna go stretch my legs. I'm actually probably going to go VC in the Discord server, see if anybody wants to chat after stream. So, yeah. Have fun, everybody. Enjoy your Sunday. Get a good rest before the start of the next week. And if you can't be the sharpest tool in the shed, you can always be the hoe.